people in this world who move through life with a quiet sense that they don't quite fit anywhere. Not broken, not strange, just different. And if you're one of those people, then you already know this truth. You can sit in a room full of others and still feel like you're standing on the outside, watching life through a glass window. Unable to step in, unable to blend in, unable to silence that feeling that something about you was shaped in a different way. But here is the part nobody tells you. That feeling doesn't come from weakness. It doesn't come from loneliness. And it definitely doesn't come from being less than anyone else. It comes from depth. Because people who feel different are built from a different psychological blueprint. One that's rare, complex, and often misunderstood. Maybe you felt this as a child without the words for it, while other kids played easily, laughed easily, followed the group without thinking. You were the one who watched, who studied, who wondered why you didn't feel the same spark of connection everyone else seemed to have. You weren't broken. You were observant. You weren't shy. You were paying attention. You weren't distant. You were processing the world more deeply than anyone around you even realized. And that depth, that quiet inner world, became the very thing that set you apart. Because some minds don't just experience life. They analyze it. They feel it with intensity. They break it apart and rebuild it again, looking for meaning in places others never even notice. People like you don't absorb life at the surface. You absorb everything. The tone in someone's voice, the hesitation before their smile, the emotion behind a simple, "I'm fine." You don't fall for people easily, but when you do, it's with a loyalty that almost feels ancient. You don't trust quickly, but when you do, it's absolute. Your mind is a landscape of emotional depth, empathy, intuition, and complexity. And that is why you feel different. Because you are. There's a certain heaviness that comes with being a deep thinker in a shallow world. A certain loneliness that comes with feeling everything in a world that tries so hard to feel nothing. A certain exhaustion that comes from being self-aware in a society that rewards performance over truth. People like you don't fit the world's template. You outgrow it too fast. You see through it too easily. You question what others simply accept. You are the kind of person who doesn't just ask, "Who am I?" You ask, "Who am I beneath the parts I had to become?" You don't just wonder, "Where do I belong?" You wonder, "Is there a place meant for minds like mine?" People who feel different often carry invisible scars, not from what happened to them, but from how deeply everything affected them. Because for you, moments aren't just moments. Words aren't just words. Memories aren't just memories. You carry them like weight, like lessons, like fragments of a larger story you're still trying to understand. You are the one who sees connections other people overlook. You read people's intentions without needing proof. You feel when someone is withdrawing before they even say it. You sense dishonesty before it becomes obvious. This is not a curse. It's sensitivity sharpened into intuition. It's intelligence blended with emotion. It's the kind of insight the world needs, even if the world hasn't learned to value it yet. But here is the truth that might surprise you. People who feel different share similar psychological traits. And when you understand them, you realize you are not alone at all. People like you are often deeply empathetic, not just emotionally, but analytically. You feel others' emotions almost as if they were your own. Sometimes you absorb their sadness, Sometimes you carry their hurt without meaning to. This makes you compassionate, but it can also make you tired. People like you are observant. You notice what others miss, not because you're trying to, but because your brain is wired to collect meaning the way others collect noise. People like you are imaginative. Your mind lives in possibilities, in what-ifs, in worlds you construct internally because the world outside often feels too small. People like you think more than you speak. You feel more than you show, and you care more than people will ever know. And that combination, in a world built for speed and simplicity, makes you feel different, because it's the truth. But here's what matters most. Being different does not mean you don't belong. It means you belong differently. You weren't meant to blend in. You were meant to understand what others overlook. You weren't built for the crowd. You were built for the deeper connections that only appear once in a while. But when they do, they change everything. You weren't made to be ordinary. Your mind was shaped for depth. Your heart was shaped for meaning. Your presence was shaped for the kind of energy that doesn't fit into small conversations or shallow relationships. If you feel different, it's not because you're lost. It's because you're ahead of your time. And maybe, just maybe, the people you are meant to meet are also wandering through life, feeling different, searching for someone who understands the way they do. People who feel different are masterpieces that the world hasn't learned how to interpret yet. But that doesn't make you any less valuable. It makes you rare. It makes you essential. It makes you the kind of mind that leaves a mark, not loudly, not aggressively, but quietly, deeply, permanently. You feel different because you experience life with more richness, more texture, more awareness, more honesty. Your mind is not a flaw. It's a hidden strength, one that grows more powerful the moment you stop trying to fit into places you've already outgrown. So if you have ever felt like the outsider, the observer, the one who stands a little apart, know this: you are exactly the way you were meant to be. And the world needs people like you far more than you realize. Because without people who think differently, feel differently, understand differently, the world would never change. It would never grow, and it would never see itself clearly. But people like you, with minds like yours, you are the mirror the world needs. You reflect truth. You reflect depth. You reflect what the world forgets too easily. You feel different because you are built to see what others cannot. And that is your superpower. If this spoke to you, if even one sentence felt like it came from your own mind, then you are not alone. You never were. And if you want more videos that understand you the way the world rarely does, subscribe to Dr. Veyne, the home for minds that feel deeply, think differently, and see the world in a way that cannot be taught. Your story matters. Your mind matters. And here, you are understood.